Time to mobilize your staff, or get ready for the uprising. It amazes me that in 2012, most banks still insist on dictating the mobile technology used by their workforce. With such a tight grip on access, policies, and content, some organizations more closely resemble the police state of the former Soviet Union. To maintain control, the industry has even resorted to using its own secret police, the BES, which has become the preferred method of maintaining order. All sarcasm aside, mobile investment should not be limited to customer-facing services. Here are 8 tips to mobilizing your workforce before you face a very angry uprising. Tip number 1. Move on and open up. It has become apparent over the last 2 years that the chosen platform of banks, RIM, no longer has the capabilities or the vision to support today's modern workforce. The BlackBerry device, in conjunction with the lockdown environment that banks have implemented, has left routine activities like accessing a site or video almost impossible. Banks should instead be encouraging this behavior. Workers want access to content anytime and anywhere. Sure, RIM may be the most secure enterprise solution, but the negatives of the platform are now far outweighed by the positives. As they say, the stats don't lie. The global slump in RIM sales is a better indicator than any of why banks should move from the platform now. Tip number 2. Don't own the device. A couple of years ago, it was common for employees to only have one mobile device at work, their corporate BlackBerry. Now it's common to find most people with 2 or 3 self-purchased devices. The BlackBerry's poor usability and lack of functionality has left workers desperate. Most have resorted to spending their own money on new work devices. Banks need to let staff manage their own device. They instead need to focus on how they can allow workers to securely access and share the content they need. The majority of workers now have smartphones with richer features than those offered by their corporate device. So which device do you think they want to use? Tip number 3. Make Wi-Fi mandatory. Can you believe a lot of banks still don't offer employees free Wi-Fi? A previous employer of mine took months to set up Wi-Fi access, and this was only after a major staff backlash. It got so bad that a member of the team had to rig up their own unsanctioned hotspot and secretly pass around login credentials. Needless to say, he became the local office hero. We even considered printing Che Guevara-style t-shirts of his likeness. Such was the admiration for this one-man revolution. With Wi-Fi, staff can move around the office and collaborate more freely. They can also benefit from much faster download times. This will particularly come in handy as they access and share more content from their mobiles moving forward. Tip number 4. Review your current approach. Before moving on to a more mobilized workforce, banks need to assess their existing operations and processes. It is critical that your strategy is not just thrown over the top of your organization. The overall group model should be refined to complement the changes initiated by a mobilized workforce. Anything that is currently done on a desktop or in person should be examined for its potential to be mobilized. Only after looking at the overall picture can banks best prioritize the opportunities that are presented. They can then determine what mobile technology should be deployed to support or even replace existing processes. Tip number 5. Invest in mobile technology. Mobile technology offers so many opportunities for the workforce that it can be hard to know where to begin. From replacing plastic access passes with NFC to real-time performance dashboards, the opportunities are endless. To begin with, banks need to establish a strong architectural framework. It should cover all system components, from the user interface to the data layer. In parallel, banks need to decide whether to outsource or build up their own internal development capability. When developing apps or services for staff, it is important that banks treat staff as they would an end customer. No shortcuts can be taken on usability, design, or support. Tip number 6. Technology is not enough. Providing greater flexibility to your employees doesn't just mean building an app and letting staff work from home. The key to success is empowering your staff to decide when, where, and how work best fits into their lifestyle. To do this, banks need to operate within an open and trusting culture. This will surely test some senior executives. The demand for greater flexibility in the office, however, is not something that is going to go away. Banks need to appreciate the benefits from a mobilized workforce. It can lead to greater efficiency and can reduce the cost and environmental footprint of a large property portfolio. There are some great win-win situations to be had for banks and staff. Tip number 7. Establish a benchmark. Most banks don't have any dedicated productivity experts beyond a handful of Six Sigma black belts who tend to focus on improving customer-facing processes. My view is that you need to get your own house in order before you can have any hope of providing better customer service. The best way to do this is to establish a showcase department. Create a team that will be the case study for your mobilized workforce. Ensure that they have the right environment, technology, and leadership support to succeed. Encourage staff from around the organization to visit, observe, and participate. Conduct detailed analysis before, during, and after the rollout to see if key productivity and satisfaction metrics have improved. Tip number 8. Be prepared for the unexpected. Mobile is the WMD, or weapon of mass disruption, of this decade. No industry, product, or channel will be immune to its disruptive capabilities. With any groundbreaking innovation, the true potential and consequences of its adoption won't be known until after it has happened. Moving to a mobilized workforce could have unintended consequences too. Over time, staff productivity and motivation could drop. Workers may struggle to communicate openly when they're required in face-to-face situations. Greater flexibility at work could encourage a freelance working culture. It is important that banks support and monitor staff during the transition and adapt their strategy when required.